students, today's agenda is to check homework. We'll be learning about trigonometric transformations and you will be able to work on 10.12. Today, students will be able to graph trigonometric transformations. What are we going to be doing transformations to? We're going to be working with the sine. If you recall from 10.7, this is the mother graph of sine. This is cosine. And finally, we're going to be also working with tangent that we learned in 10.8. And here the cycle for tangent, it starts at negative pi over 2 and then it ends at pi over 2. So it takes pi for one cycle. And so those will be our mother graphs, but what you're going to be doing is either changing one of these values. Okay, each one of them does something or affects the graph in a different way. If you recall from 10.10, these are vertical transformations. This is the amplitude, it changes the amplitude. So what that means is going to stretch it vertically from the midline. It's going to stretch each point away from that midline. Okay, and that's vertically, or compress it if it's a fraction. Whole number, it stretches. Fraction, it compresses it. For this one, you just move the midline up or down, okay, with D. And for B, it affects the period is, instead of taking 2 pi to do the whole sine, for example, or either cosine or even tangent, how long will it take? Or sometimes it's a compression, sometimes it's a stretch. And for this one, this is a phase shift. That means I grab my whole period and move it to the left or move it to the right. And that was done for the horizontal shifts. It was done in 10.11. But now we're going to do a mix of some of them. If you feel that you don't get the information you need from this video, you might. And I hope this helps, but if not, let me know in the comments below and we can make a video with more examples. Okay, so here it says graph f of x equals tan of x plus pi over 2. As I showed you, our cycle is from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2 on x. Okay, so let's get to this one. We're going to graph tangent of x plus pi over 2. This is a horizontal shift. And so the way to do it is by writing. This means that we're going to move it to the left or to the right. And the way to do it is by writing everything that is inside of the parentheses. So x plus pi over 2 equals 0. Okay? We equal it to 0 and then start solving for x, and that's how you find out how much you're going to shift it. And the sign tells me if it goes to the left or the right. So 0 minus pi over 2 is going to be negative pi over 2. That means that every point is going to move to the left. Okay, so in here we have these 3 points. Those are the points that we're going to be moving it, and it's pi over 2 spaces to the left because it's negative. That means if you notice, pi over 2 requires 2 squares in here because we decided to make it 2 squares. So that means that every point is going to move 2 squares to the left. Okay, so 1, 2, that point goes right there. This one is 1, 2, right there because it's a whole pi over 2 negative, and this is 1, 2. So that's how you do it. And so that means that my new, these were the asymptotes. Okay, so those are going to move as well. And so instead of using light green to the new one, I'm going to use darker green. So it's going to be 1, 2 spaces. This is my new asymptotes right there, and this one goes 2 spaces to the left as well. So the new asymptote is right here. So my graph will be of the new transform graph going something like this. Remember that the asymptotes is to guide us where it's going to approach, but it never touches. Okay, on the other side it approaches but does not touch, something like that. So it moved a whole pi over 2 to the left. Okay, so that's the new graph.